La Palma is a remote little paradise for paragliding. It's amazingly diverse. You can take off from a forest, fly over lunar scenery, and finally land on a beach.
Yes!
The island is heart-shaped. The prevailing wind is northeast 70% of the days, and the southwest side of the island is sheltered from main winds in the leeward, thus generating its own microclimate. When the wind meets the island, depending on its component, one part of the airflow is forced to pass over the relief, and the other has to get away towards the far end of the island. Thus, initial speed triples. When the usual wind component, termed as northeast trade wind regime, occurs, one part of the airflow is forced to rise over the east slopes of the island. Being a humid wind, it will condense on its way up and will meet the part of the airflow which is already blowing at that level, moving clouds closer. From early morning, this will cause the east side of the island to be saturated with clouds which are trying to move over the summit. However, at this altitude, the trade wind thermal inversion places a lid on cloud development, usually between 900 and 1,300 meters of altitude, and the summits are over 2,000 meters high. As a result, wind and clouds must get away towards the northwest and southeast far ends. Only in the center of the island there is a 1,200 meter high trough, usually occupied by the powerful trade winds. But since the west side of the island is sheltered in the leeward and it is usually sunny, a thermal breeze will soon generate. After colliding with the trade wind, the thermal breeze with strong rising component will force it to fly over the thermal bubble and get away towards the ocean a couple of miles offshore. The remaining outflow at the extreme ends will meet and continue in the southwest direction, together with the remaining wind in the area. Although one part of the airflow will turn into strong breeze to foster thermal activity in the leeward, especially near getaways or cut winds associated.
Lo que me gusta de volar es la sensación de libertad que sientes en el aire. Volar en las Islas Canarias es impresionante, es una de las mejores sensaciones que puedes tener y te permite volar 300 días al año, que eso pues en muy pocos lugares del mundo puedes hacerlo. Recomiendo a la gente que se anime a volar porque es una de las mejores experiencias que va a pasar en su vida y que es una maravilla.
This rare system of leeward breezes, return breeze, Föhn effect, Venturi effect, does not always behave in the same way. If there is heavy rain at the summit, the Föhn effect will get more intense, and this will finally become risky in most parts of the usual flight sites. When inversion is very high, above 1,400 meters, the sheltered area is reduced, and many clouds reach the leeward side, thus reducing insulation. This will further weaken the leeward thermal breeze, main pillar of the network. If there's no rainfall or rain is not visible, the leeward wind is much more reliable and predictable, although in certain areas some weather wind may be originated if clouds cut insulation or sunshine for a few hours, or if high cloud layers prevent the heating of the earth since morning. La Palma offers a network of official takeoff sites easily found on the internet. They are also well marked with informative panels. Flying is possible both on the windward and the leeward side all year round. Windward flights will be influenced by wind direction and terrain height. For dynamic flights in light wind, we will have to get closer to the vertices of the island to find sufficient intensity, or to the high takeoffs of the island. In strong wind, we must avoid those areas and use central areas where initial windward speed can be significantly reduced, even up to half its speed, because of compression, ascension and outflow, which behaves as a wind drain. Clearly, the island is not suitable for risky cross-country flights. Local knowledge and good judgment are always very important. In any case, the amount of safe, flyable days is certainly high. On the leeward side, the situation is completely different. Thanks to the amazing takeoffs and unequalled scenery. La Palma is the highest island in the world in relation to its perimeter. It is a huge volcanic building emerging from the seabed up to more than 2,000 meters, so the leeward side is excellent. In general, leeward flight is not advisable. However, in the Canary Islands it is common and it can be done safely if you are properly informed. La Palma is a biosphere worldwide reserve. A high percentage of its surface has some kind of natural protection, so if we intend to use a particular takeoff or landing site not belonging to Cabildo, the official network, it is important to find out if it is allowed by the island's governing plan.